Good evening students. In this video we are going to discuss about the rheumatoid arthritis. अब rheumatoid arthritis के बारे में आप सभी ने सुना होगा, हो सकता है आपने इसके पेशेंट्स देखे भी हों, हो सकता है परिवार में किसी को हो. तो rheumatoid arthritis का मीनिंग क्या है? What are the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis? What is the pathophysiology behind rheumatoid arthritis? Then what are the drugs which are used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, जिनको हम बोलते हैं एंटी रूमेटिक ड्रग्स ऑल्सो. एंड इन दवाइयों के क्या मैकेनिज्म ऑफ एक्शंस होते हैं, क्या यूजेस होते हैं, क्या साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स होते हैं, कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशंस एंड प्रिकॉशंस. सो लेट्स डिस्कस एवरीथिंग इन डिटेल इन दिस वीडियो ऑन rheumatoid arthritis. So the presenting symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis are pain, joint stiffness, swelling in the small joints, especially like the interphalangeal and the metacarpophalangeal joints of the hands. तो पहले इनिशियली ये स्मॉल जॉइंट्स इनफैक्ट इन्वॉल्व होते हैं एंड देर इज पेन होता है, स्वेलिंग होती है, स्टिफनेस होती है. The symptoms in the beginning are mild and by taking an NSAID usually they resolve. But slowly and slowly the pain increases, the symptoms increases, the stiffness increases and they are not resolved by the NSAIDs alone. तो उस केस में then the patient usually comes to the hospital. You will check the presence of rheumatic factor in the blood and also you will check for the anti-CCP antibodies. So they are found to be positive. ESR आपको थोड़ा सा बड़ा मिलेगा, C रिएक्टिव प्रोटीन बड़ा मिलेगा. So ये आपके जो इन्वेस्टिगेशंस है ये पॉइंट करते हैं प्लस द सिम्टम्स दे पॉइंट टुवर्ड्स द presence of rheumatoid arthritis in the patient. Now this rheumatoid arthritis slowly and slowly it causes damage to the joint, so then joint deformities also start appearing. हो सकता है कभी आपके पास पेशेंट्स ऐसी कंडीशन में आए जब rheumatoid arthritis काफ़ी बढ़ चुका हो, तो आप देखेंगे कि उनकी उंगलियां थोड़ी सी डिफॉर्म्ड होंगी. They will not be straight, they will be having a deformity at the joints. So this clearly indicates that the patient was suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. Now because of lack of lack of treatment facilities in the villages, usually then they don't take any treatment. So what is the pathophysiology of rheumatoid arthritis? So as we discussed, as I said earlier, it is a systemic progressive autoimmune disorder. मतलब यहाँ पे immune system involved है. तो rheumatoid arthritis में देखा गया है कि type 3 immunity होती है and इस type 3 immunity में क्या होता है, there is formation of immune complexes with IgM and these immune complexes then they attract complement and they also increase the chemotactic factors, which is specifically in rheumatoid arthritis we have TNF alpha and interleukin 1. So TNF alpha, interleukin 1 ये जो cytokines हैं ये chemotaxis करते हैं, neutrophils को attract करते हैं towards that area and then they produce an inflammation. Along with that prostaglandins are produced and prostaglandins they cause vasodilatation, swelling and pain. So all these things together then they give rise to the symptoms that we see in a patient of rheumatoid arthritis. They also release lysosomal enzymes which causes erosion of the bone and the articular cartilage and slowly the bone starts getting deformed, the joint starts getting deformed and you will find that the patient has severe pain in the joint. So now the drug therapy of rheumatoid arthritis is focused on two areas. What are they? First is amelioration of pain, swelling and joint stiffness. Second is preventing articular cartilage damage and bone erosion. And the third is to prevent the development of deformities and to preserve the joint functions. So these are the three aims of the treatment therapy for rheumatoid arthritis. Now to relieve the pain and stiffness, we have NSAIDs, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. ये NSAIDs जो हैं बहुत अच्छा काम करते हैं and they relieve the pain, stiffness, joint stiffness, swelling immediately. But over a period of time it is seen that they are not very effective and in fact if we increase the dose then we have their side effects also like gastritis and bleeding disorders. So now what to do? So a second category of drugs was developed which are called as disease modifying anti-rheumatic drugs or also called as DMARDs. Now these DMARDs are not analgesics and not inflammatory. They basically reduce the core autoimmune mechanism that has gone wrong in the case of rheumatoid arthritis. Now these DMARDs have got two categories. One is biological agents and the second is non-biological agents. पहले non-biological agents use करते थे Now in last 2 years, some biological agents have come up and they are found to be more effective and more useful than the non-biological agents. This is the classification of anti-rheumatic drugs. The disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, DMARDs, and adjuvant drugs like steroids. Then DMARDs are divided into non-biological drugs and biological agents. Now in non-biological drugs, we have immunosuppressants, which is methotrexate, azathioprine, and cyclosporin. Other immunomodulators like sulfasalazine, hydroxychloroquine, leflunomide, and tofacitinib. Then in biological agents, we have TNF-alpha inhibitors and other biologicals. TNF-alpha inhibitors, we have etanercept, infliximab, and adalimumab. And in other biologicals, we have tocilizumab, abatacept, and rituximab. So now let's see this classification of anti-rheumatic drugs. The first non-biological agent to be used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis is methotrexate. Now methotrexate is a very old anti-cancer agent. It is having a very strong immunosuppressant and a very strong anti-inflammatory property. This methotrexate is actually an inhibitor of dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. तो DHFR इसको बोलते हैं शॉर्ट फॉर्म में. DHFRase एंजाइम होता है. By inhibiting this enzyme, it reduces the conversion of dihydrofolic acid to tetrahydrofolic acid. Now, by inhibiting the formation of tetrahydrofolic acid, it inhibits a lot of one carbon transfer reactions like DNA synthesis, and thus it kills the cell. अब ये जब एक्ट कर रहा है तो ये जो इसकी एक्शन है, इससे कैंसर सेल तो मरता ही है, या जो सेल डिफेक्टिव है, ऑटोइम्यून सेल है, वो भी मरता है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ नॉर्मल सेल्स पे भी इफेक्ट आता है. तो then it results in various toxicities also. And what are the toxicities of methotrexate? It causes bone marrow depression, it causes GIT toxicity, so GI upset is there, then it can even result in oral ulceration. So these effects are because of the toxicity of methotrexate. So what can we do to reduce that? There is a compound called as leucovorin. Leucovorin is a reduced form of folic acid. Now we give this leucovorin with methotrexate in the patient in whom methotrexate is being taken for a long time. So this leucovorin is then, because it is a reduced form of folic acid, so it doesn't have to go through the reduction in the body. So automatically then this reduced form of folic acid is directly used in the one carbon transfer reactions, and then it reduces the toxicity of methotrexate in the normal cells. So leucovorin therapy is instituted with methotrexate. Now methotrexate, by its action on immunosuppression and anti-inflammatory property, so it reduces the immune reactions which are occurring in rheumatoid arthritis patients. It reduces the chemotaxis, it inhibits the cytokine production, it inhibits the movement of neutrophils, and also inhibits the release of lysosomal enzymes, so prevents the bone erosion also for quite a long time. So this is the action of methotrexate in patients, and that is why it is preferred in these patients. This is the non-biological agent that is maximum preferred in a rheumatoid arthritis patient. Then another drug is azathioprine. Now this azathioprine is actually converted into it acts after getting converted to 6-mercaptopurine. Azathioprine is lesser active than methotrexate. It also reduces the inflammation, it reduces the cell-mediated immunity, and selectively affects the differentiation of T cells and natural killer cells. However, it is remission is induced in very small percentage of rheumatoid arthritis patients. It has a steroid sparing effect, so sometimes it is used with steroids, definitely. So azathioprine is not to be combined with methotrexate and is given as a second line therapy to methotrexate. Now another very interesting drug, DMARD, is sulfasalazine. Now sulfasalazine originally is a sulfonamide drug. It is an antibiotic, sulfonamide, but it is now basically used as a DMARD in rheumatoid arthritis and ulcerative colitis. Now sulfasalazine is made up of two moieties, 5-ASA, that is 5-amino-salicylic acid, and sulfapyridine. And this sulfapyridine is the active moiety in rheumatoid arthritis, while 5-ASA is the active moiety in ulcerative colitis. So when the patient takes sulfasalazine, then the 5-ASA, it doesn't get absorbed, it stays in the colon, and there it has a topical action on the ulcerative colitis, while sulfapyridine is absorbed systemically and it reaches the rheumatoid arthritis sites. Now, sulfasalazine again is a second line therapy to methotrexate. It has got some side effects like neutropenia, thrombocytopenia, hepatitis it causes. It is contraindicated in G6PD patients because it can result in hemolysis, and regular blood count monitoring is required. So sulfasalazine is also used in many patients where methotrexate cannot be tolerated. DMARD that is used is हाइड्रोक्सीक्लोरोक्विन. नाउ हाइड्रोक्सीक्लोरोक्विन, क्लोरोक्विन, दे आर बेसिकली एंटी मलेरियल ड्रग्स. तो उनका जो मैकेनिज्म है रूमेटॉइड आर्थराइटिस में इतना क्लियर नहीं है, बट इट इज सेड दैट मे बी दे रिड्यूस द इंटरल्यूकिन 1 secretion, and because of that it leads to B lymphocyte inhibition, and they result in lysosomal stabilization and free radical scavenging. Now this hydroxychloroquine has to be given for a long time, because in rheumatoid arthritis the drug have to be continued for a long time, so you cannot just give it for 1 week or 2 weeks and stop it. So because of giving for a long time, then इनकी toxicities बहुत होती है. So hydroxychloroquine, chloroquine में क्या होता है कि they deposit in the tissues. तो इनका सबसे ज़्यादा deposition होता है रेटाइना में. So they cause retinal deposition, and because of which they cause retinopathy and corneal opacity, and sometimes resulting in blindness. So that is why this drug is not very much preferred for a long duration use. Hydroxychloroquine can be max to max combined with methotrexate or sulfasalazine, and can be given in mild or very non-erosive condition cases. Then कुछ साल पहले एक बहुत अच्छी दवाई आई which was actually almost comparable to methotrexate, and it can be given in place of methotrexate to the patients. तो इस दवाई का नाम था leflunomide. So this leflunomide is actually a dihydroorotate dehydrogenase inhibitor, and it inhibits pyrimidine synthesis, and it is seen to retard the progression of disease, retard the joint erosions, retard the deformity of the joints and the bones, and arthritic symptoms होते हैं, radiological progression होता है, इन सबको retard करता है. So leflunomide is found to be as effective as methotrexate. On starting within 4 weeks it causes remission. देन लेफ्लुनोमाइड का एक एक्टिव मेटाबोलाइट है जो कि उससे भी ज़्यादा अच्छे से काम करता है, विच इज़ मोर एक्टिव दैन द एक्चुअल ड्रग. सो लेफ्लुनोमाइड इज़ गिवन इनिशियली इन अ लोडिंग डोज ऑफ 100 milligram फॉर अराउंड 3 days, एंड देन इट इज़ फॉलोड बाय 20 milligram OD डोज डेली फॉर द पेशेंट. लेफ्लुनोमाइड के कुछ साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स होते हैं, जैसे ये करता है डायरिया, हेडेक, नोजिया, लॉस ऑफ हेयर, थ्रोम्बोसाइटोपिनिया, देन ल्यूकोपिनिया, चेस्ट इन्फेक्शन करता है, हेपेटिक ट्रांसमाइनेस बढ़ाता है. तो ये इसके साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स होते हैं. लेफ्लुनोमाइड इज़ टेरेटोजेनिक, सो नॉट टू बी यूज्ड इन चिल्ड्रन एंड प्रेग्नेंट लेडीज. इट हैज़ टू बी रिमेंबर्ड, एंड इट कैन बी यूज्ड इन पीपल हु आर नॉट compliant to methotrexate. So alternative to methotrexate होता है. कॉम्बिनेशन अगर करोगे तो फिर हेपेटोटॉक्सिसिटी बढ़ जाती है, and combination with sulfasalazine gives some benefits. In patients who are not responding to methotrexate, in severe rheumatoid arthritis case, we have a drug which is called as tofacitinib. It is approved by FDA only to be used in severe rheumatoid arthritis cases not responding to methotrexate. It is actually a Janus kinase inhibitor. So it interferes with the JAK-STAT signaling pathway, and it results in inhibition of inflammation, stops the release of cytokines, and reduces the inflammation overall. Adverse effects इसके होते हैं, it causes headache, insomnia, diarrhea, hypertension वगैरह. So इसलिए हर किसी में इसे यूज़ नहीं करना होता. It is a targeted synthetic drug approved for a severe rheumatoid arthritis case which is not responding to methotrexate. So what is the drug name? It is tofacitinib. कॉर्टिकोस्टेरॉइड्स होते हैं. देखो कॉर्टिकोस्टेरॉइड्स तो मैजिक ड्रग्स होती हैं, तो दे कैन बी यूज्ड इन एनी टाइम, दे कैन बी इंस्टीट्यूटेड इन द थेरेपी ऑफ रूमेटॉइड आर्थराइटिस. तो यूजुअली जो सिस्टमिक स्टीरॉइड्स दिए जा सकते हैं या इंट्रा आर्टिकुलर इंजेक्शन दिया जा सकता है अगर कोई पर्टिकुलर जॉइंट में बहुत ज़्यादा पेन है तो ये सब करा जा सकता है, लेकिन स्टीरॉइड्स के अपने साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स बहुत होते हैं, तो इसलिए यूजुअली इनको अवॉइड किया जाता है. सेकेंडली, हम स्टीरॉइड्स को बहुत लंबे समय तक नहीं दे सकते हैं. अगर लंबे समय तक देंगे तो फिर उसके अलग सीरियस डिसएडवांटेजेस होते हैं. तो या तो हम स्टीरॉइड्स को थोड़ी थोड़ी डोज में ऐड कर लें NSAIDs के साथ जब हम DMARDs को शुरू कर रहे हैं, एंड सो दैट वाइल द एक्शन ऑफ DMARDs कम the steroids give a cover with NSAIDs, and once the DMARD action is fully achieved, then you can taper the dose of steroids. या सेकंड है कि बीच में high doses over a very short period just to cover up or to remit the severe systemic manifestations of rheumatoid arthritis. You can use steroids in those conditions also when there are severe systemic complications, and while the patient is awaiting a remission from a response from a remission inducing drug, तो उस केस में हम steroids दे सकते हैं. Now let's see the biological agents. Biological agents में we mainly have the biological agents which are monoclonal antibodies, recombinant proteins. They bind to and they inhibit the cytokines, specifically interleukin 1, interleukin 6 and TNF alpha. Now these drugs are basically very effective in all the autoimmune disorders because the pathophysiology of all the autoimmune disorders is almost similar. So apart from rheumatoid arthritis, they can also be used in inflammatory bowel disease, psoriasis, scleroderma, then Crohn's disease, psoriasis, ankylosing spondylitis, psoriatic arthritis. So these are other autoimmune conditions in which the same drugs can also be used. Now if we talk about the TNF alpha receptor antagonist drugs, so TNF alpha inhibitors, may we have drugs which are basically affecting the TNF alpha cytokine, and this TNF alpha plays a very major role in the inflammatory cascade of rheumatoid arthritis. So by inhibiting this cytokine, ekdam se the inflammation is reduced, the degenerative effect of rheumatoid arthritis, the cytokines, chemotaxis, the effect, the erosion of bones, the effect that they were producing on the cartilage, all that is reduced. The impact of biological agents is much faster than non-biological agents. They can be used as monotherapy, but usually they are combined with the non-biological agents to get more effect, synergistic action. You should never combine two biological agents in the same patient. Now, TNF alpha inhibitors, we have three drugs, that is etanercept, infliximab and adalimumab. Etanercept is actually a recombinant fusion protein of TNF alpha receptor with FC portion of human IgG, and this is given by subcutaneous injection. Then another drug is infliximab. This is given by intravenous injection every 4 weeks, and adalimumab is given again by subcutaneous injection every 2 weeks. Now ये जितनी भी दवाइयाँ हैं, see, they have a tendency to increase the opportunistic infections like tuberculosis, pneumonia and some candidiasis. So the patient has to be checked for latent tuberculosis before giving these drugs. Secondly, the pain in intravenous or subcutaneous site is very common. The patient can develop respiratory infections after administration of these drugs. So all these conditions have to be taken into account, and then only they should be started. Summarizing rheumatoid arthritis, it is a progressive systemic autoimmune disorder of interleukins, TNF alpha, interleukin 1, interleukin 6 playing a major role. And for treatment therapy, there are three goals: amelioration of pain, joint stiffness and swelling, then reduction of joint cartilage, articular cartilage damage and bone erosion, and preserving joint function and preventing the deformities in the joint. So to achieve these goals, we have NSAIDs, which are used to reduce the pain, swelling and joint inflammation. Then we have corticosteroids systemically and intra-articularly. They can be injected whenever needed. In systemic complications, they are also taken. Then we have DMARDs or disease modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, and these are having biological agents as well as non-biological agents. Non-biological agents include methotrexate, sulfasalazine, azathioprine, hydroxychloroquine, leflunomide, and another that was tofacitinib. And biological agents, they have TNF alpha and interleukin 6 inhibitors like abatacept, etanercept and infliximab, like etanercept, infliximab, adalimumab, which are basically TNF alpha antagonist, and tocilizumab, which is interleukin 6 antagonist, and abatacept and rituximab. So with this we complete the chapter of drugs acting in rheumatic disease. Next we'll be taking the drugs which are NSAIDs, so non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So watch my channel, subscribe, share and comment. Thank you.